On day one of his second term, President Trump said America needs God and religion. He established the White House Faith Office and a task force on anti-Christian bias. The president also launched the Religious Liberty Commission. As CBN senior White House correspondent Kelly Wright reports, the commission will promote religious freedom throughout the country.
In launching the Religious Liberty Commission, President Trump made clear through an executive order that not only is religious liberty enshrined in America's Constitution, it needs to be enforced and protected. White House Faith Director Jenny Korn explains part of the commission's mandate.
It's all people of faith. So we have Jewish, we have imams, we've got Christian, we've got Catholic. We want to make sure that everybody understands that faith means people of all faith from every background, because that is what this country was founded, the freedom of faith. And so we are representing people of all faith.
Korn adds members will also focus on how religious freedoms have been attacked, citing the case of former high school football coach Joe Kennedy, fired from his job for praying on the field after games.
In case after case, talking about what has happened in this country and how our religious freedoms are really at stake. When Coach Kennedy has to go all the way to the Supreme Court for kneeling on a football field to pray, we have a problem with religious freedom. And that's only one example. And so the Religious Liberty Commission is people who are so educated on what religion actually is, and they're going to make sure that policies that affect people of faith know exactly what religious freedom means.
Objectives of the commission include exploring America's foundation of religious liberty, identify its impact on society and current threats to this right, develop strategies to preserve and enhance religious freedom for future generations. The commission is made up of 13 members with diverse religious and professional backgrounds. Leaders include Chairman Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Vice Chair Dr. Ben Carson, and Alveda King, the niece of Martin Luther King Jr. What does it mean to serve on the Religious Liberty Commission, and what is your role with that?
I spoke to a group of young people up on Capitol Hill yesterday through the Coral Ridge Ministries, and they asked the question, well, why is it that in America you could speak of your faith as long as you don't say you're a Christian? I said, well, that's not exactly true. The First Amendment allows us as Christians to speak freely as well. And that's what the Religious Liberty Commission is doing.
Stretch your hands, lay across.
And most of the work that I'm doing nowadays is involved in reminding people that we can still proclaim our faith in the public square in the United States of America.
Alveda, what are the challenges that you see that may lie ahead in terms of America and its embracing one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all?
We are one blood and one human race, which led the preachers in my family, and I count myself as one, the family that birthed Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., my dad, Reverend A.D. King, my mother, Dr. Naomi Ruth Barber King. And so the scripture, Acts 17:26, of one blood, God made all people. So we're one blood. We're one human race. And as we can see each other in that manner and not divide because of skin color or gestational age or whether we're elderly.
So with the Religious Liberty Commission, how do you help? What do you see ahead in terms of helping Americans understand that love can drive out the hate and light can drive out the darkness?
Very few days from now, we'll be back on Capitol Hill at the Museum of the Bible, actually, not exactly on the Hill. And we'll be speaking about education. We're concerned for these parents and young people who will be in school and they want to express their views as Christians. And the teacher may not agree and can give them an F. They can fail a class for saying what they believe. And so we're asking for testimony.
What's your hope for America?
So as long as America cares, loves, listens, as long as we do that as a people, I believe that we will continue to see many advances, and there is hope for America.
Praying for the protection of the nation.
There is actually hope for America.
Kelly Wright, CBN News.
It's been a disturbing trend in America, and it literally goes back to the prayer in schools ruling by the Supreme Court, that somehow or other religious expression, that public prayer, is somehow unconstitutional. And whenever I hear that, I go, you absolutely do not know the history of religious freedom in America. The call that went throughout Europe, that whether you were Puritan or Baptist or any of the Protestant religions, that you could come to America and enjoy freedom, that you could assemble in meetings, you could pray how you wanted to pray, you could read the Bible in your own language, not some other language, but you had the freedom to do all of that. Now, in the history of the Bill of Rights and our wonderful protection that Congress shall make no law is the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom. Now, it was drafted by Thomas Jefferson all the way back in 1777. It became law in Virginia in 1786. The principle of that law was to disestablish the Church of England as the official religion of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And then added, and the state, the government, can make no law prohibiting the free exercise of any religion. Now, in my view, that includes if you want no religion at all, you have that freedom. But if you have no religion at all, you can't impose that on those that do have religious beliefs, and you can't stop them from the free exercise of that belief, which means a Christian can pray anywhere they want. It's a free country. And you can't stop that. There should be no law prohibiting that. But we've gone far away from that and somehow put this establishment clause ahead of the free exercise clause. In the original intent, in what they wanted, is that everyone should have the freedom. It's a good exercise to review these documents and to go back to that history. Another one I will add to it is George Washington's letter to a synagogue in Rhode Island and his proclamation that he wanted everyone to be free, that you would never fear. You could be under your own vine, your own fig tree, and no one would interfere with you. That's the goal of the United States of America, that everyone has freedom of conscience, everyone has freedom of belief, and no one can interfere with that. That should be the goal of every government official. It should also be the goal of every